Now, the hookup culture arrives. You have to be cool. You shouldn't care. You should swipe around. It's like a blinking competition, honestly. Who can hold cool longer? Like, who can care less? Like, you know. And lots of, mind you, it's a lot of drinking going around. It's like, I definitely didn't mean it to be sensitive. I definitely didn't mean to like you. Something else made me, and tomorrow I'm cool again. So I think that emotional IQ should grow when you're with the right person. And that's a life partner, okay? That's not a lover. I mean, we fall for lovers way too soon. Life partner is something else. Now, in your prime family, if apology was shame, if that was vulnerability, and I say we're vulnerable, you lose something. If I apologize means I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then I'm not the person I think I am.
Yeah.
So it is attack on identity, right? I do think we have overprotected you guys and underprotected you at the same time as a parents.
Really?
Absolutely.
How so underprotected?
We let you scroll endlessly. We never even know what your voices are hearing in a very tender, vulnerable age. But I honestly find the cruelty online that is freely shared never be allowed face to face. Let me just say what's the biggest offender for me with apology. Okay, on the phone. Oh my Lord. I think apology has to be with a voice.
The Infinite Perspective Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Infinite Perspective Podcast. I'm your host, Hamad Mustafa, here with another episode. For the first time in the podcast's history, I have invited someone for a second time. We've had some amazing conversations with her. She was in the third episode of the Infinite Perspective Podcast. Milica, she holds a master's degree in applied psychology and a bachelor's in philosophy. And I really, really enjoy the kind of deep conversations we get into. It's almost like an endless deep water trench that, you keep on wanting to get into deeper and deeper. So without further ado, I'm going to let her introduce herself more in detail. Welcome back to the podcast, Milica Bursac.
That's a good one.
I hope I didn't butcher your last name
perfect.
this time.
That's perfect. Well, thank you for having me back. I'm flattered, I have to say.
Pleasure's mine.
It's a pleasure. So let me just kind of quickly introduce myself again. At the moment, I am involved with three things. So I'm a practice manager at Bedaya Polyclinic. I help three doctors run their practice smoothly. So I'm behind the curtains. I also working on developing a supplement range. So at the moment, it's very exciting. So I run the
congratulations.
No, it's been dead. Just I'm scaling up a little bit this year. Okay. With our signature range. And also on the side, we are developing online courses for mental health and actually improving all our relationships. So all the hidden forces that influence our lives that we don't really listen properly and kind of examine most of the day, we're now developing courses. So funny enough, the course that we just finished is Better Together. It's all about improving relationships.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean intimate relationships.
Interesting.
So the timing is perfect for this conversation.
Interesting. I'm excited to talk more about those topics. And, your brain behind those products, I'm sure it's going to carry that same intellectual identity you bring to the table.
There's a lot of intention. I do think we carry a lot of self-accountability and ethics. Right. I think everything we do is with a very similar attitude. We do, when we were making the supplements, we asked ourselves, what would we give them to our family? Would we give them to our loved ones? And if I can't give to my loved ones, honestly, the supplement, we're not going to sell it. So it's a very clear, kind of guideline for us. So keeping that trust, and again, the value differentiation is very for us important, which is what we walk the talk. We really do. So,
and I think that the thing which you mentioned about intent. That way to frame things in general, like even when you're making a podcast episode or working on a film or working on a smartphone device that you want to launch into the market, something that you think would you or the people around you like to use, or would they enjoy that experience? Would it be safe for them? That is something that I feel like helps you actually pursue success in whatever it is that you're looking to develop?
So I think, if you see why we chose that, the sentence that I gave is really to show you how much we, cared about making the product really offer what we claim it does. Because, but it also shows that it applies expertise, it applies really understanding what is a good product, so all of this. So we do kind of go one by one and do a very good checklist on the value differentiation we want. And of course, the problem you solve. Like, if you don't define the problem well, then honestly, your solution is not good as well. So we very quickly play that the devil's advocate and ask ourselves, so if I wanted to really criticize this, how would I? And where would be? So if I invite others into conversation, and we do, and so we improve thinking. Should we exist? Why do we exist? What kind of conversation we trigger? Do we educate at the same time? Do we actually improve someone's lives? So these things are constantly we have our fingers on that pulse. So continuously, no matter what we do. It's a practice. Is it making the courses? So it's really being there and asking ourselves, how do we change someone's life? How do we add to the solutions to certain problems? Do we introduce better conversations? Do we make someone a better thinker? Do we become something better in the relationship to people around us? So it's that moment of impact. How do we create better moment of impact with the people that we interact with, the people where we want to serve? And really in service of. Who are we in service of rather than who can we benefit out of? So we rarely do things that are involved with selling. We more want to contribute. So how can we contribute and stay ethical as we do that?
Staying ethical, that's very important. Very important value in business these days. Now, talking about mental health, immediately one of the first topics that I want to get into is the idea of growth and the idea of growing from pain. It's a very common sentence, no pain, no gain, right? There's this belief that anything that doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, right? But how true do you think this is? Do you think it's absolutely necessary? Of course, there's different cases, but in general, just addressing this broad idea, does pain always equate to growth? And specifically, let's talk about traumatic pain, not physical, mental. Having to go through heartbreak, having to have someone who passed away. I actually had a previous guest on my podcast, and they mentioned that their grandmother died, and it was one of the worst things that they've ever felt in life, right? And something quite interesting that kind of caught me off guard. He said that, I wish you go through the same thing because it'll help you grow and make you a stronger person. And that kind of shocked me. Are you wishing my grandmother to die? But I don't know. What do you think about it?
Okay, so I was looking at that question and I was thinking, first I thought, what prompted you to ask something like this, right? So it must be something out there echoing in the pop culture and pop psychology here, in that echo chamber there. Obviously, as usual, you see this is, as I called a T-shirt motto. It doesn't offer really a balcony view and nuance. Yeah. First of all, when it comes to, this is Nietzsche. Nietzsche said that, right? Obviously, that's his he coined this. And from that on, we played with it in many versions. And I'm just going to kind of go away a little bit and I come back. I remember when 10,000 hours was suggested as a way to master anything. Yeah. And I thought, well, what is missing is actually doing it correctly. So you can do 10,000 hours, really, but if you're doing it poorly, you really won't get a master at it at all. So I think in any growth or any experience, being in it intentionally, coming with a thoughtfulness and a really good observational seat is what's going to produce the growth. So what I have found that a lot of people have this almost wrapped up evolutionary kind of narrative around it so we can make meaning out of suffering, right? Oh, it was good that this happened and that's really coping skill. And it's wonderful but if you think about it, do you really need, so there's assumption behind it. Let's unpack it. Do I need to grow really a pain. I do think negative experiences are massive drivers, right?
Okay.
They rob us of a lot of resources. It's the energy, it's the time. They emotionally charge us, and obviously we are in a state of disbalance. They disrupt reality. So they motivate us, they're drivers, right? Now, question of really your resilience that you're coming in, right? Have you had such experience before? Have you dealt before? And so all of this counts. So the really what you look at where the growth happens is really your observational seat, right? So do you see yourself in this, whatever you're experiencing? And do you have the questions for yourself, right? What's right now happening? How should I deal with this? How do you guide yourself, right? So, and let's talk about death, right?
Okay.
And I mean, it's interesting that this person said this. It made her to become aware of something. It provoked awareness. It provoked thoughtfulness of something that she had a complete blind spot, right? Now, do you really need a death to think about these things? Or you need to be curious? Or you need to expand your curiosity beyond your own microcosm, right? Beyond your life, right? So let's say your purpose is to accept other people's perspectives. Let's say you want to really expand the narrative of the world around yourself. Then really you can grow at any point. You don't need suffering in itself. You can watch other people through compassion, suffering, and wonder. Really simulate. What would I do? Would I be able to be? What kind of strength would I need to live this through? How would I teach my child to live this through? What would it mean to be resilient? What does it mean to grow? For what? To grow to be what? What kind of person would you like to be? What does it mean to be kind here? And I think that is guided. If you think about any experience can lead to significant growth, right? So in the relationship to self, what she actually did, she mirrored on something in self. She mirrored something that was unfinished, that was weak, that needed to become a conscious narrative with self, right? Now, you can see actually with cancer patients, they will say that the cancer created complete focus on priorities, right? Why? And this is a very good question, why? Now, we live with acknowledgement of mortality. We know it. We play every possible game to avoid thinking about that, right? One
True.
of the things that and time on this planet is very limited. And we also forget this. And we behave like everything is going to last. And we're forever going to be able to love, to experience certain things. Now, and I really changed this. And I know for most people, this is morbid. For me, death is in constantly walking with me. Acknowledgement of death and finitiveness of my life really crystallized my priority. There's a very few things I'm going to be upset about, honestly. And so the growth happened when you really see priorities. This is quality of your relationships. This is really your loved ones. This is impact on the world. I do not need suffering. Now, as I said, for some people, this jolts them. It disturbs the comfort zone. It expands curiosity. And you will see with parents, and a lot of people who had the privileged position, and when they have a loss, they suddenly have a million questions. And you will see even in the therapy, most people who come, they can endlessly describe problems. But when they're happy, the vocabulary is so short. How is it? It's okay. It's good. Things are good. Yeah, okay. Roll with it. It's okay. What's okay? And you have to, if you're unhappy, it's a crime list. It goes on and details, right? So it just shows you how much more awareness and alertness pulls in. Now you're going to ask me, when is trauma? And you actually use the word trauma. Okay. So, and really we can unpack this, but we're going to hopefully not go too long so we can move to other questions. So trauma really means I have crossed your resources, okay? And I invite a lot of vulnerabilities and possibly poor coping skills. So trauma, I think for me, it sometimes goes quite opposite, especially if it already sits on other things on top. So let's say you keep losing, right? There's no balance on the other side as a reference point of your ability or agency. I do think you can eventually feel and define. You have to, your body, your brain has to say why. Why am I losing? And it has to interpret this, right?
Absolutely.
So something is broken because you're comparing, right? You're always having a reference point. So other people are not losing. So you can either say something like, oh, this is dealt poorly to me and victim, or you say, I'm broken. I'm just terrible. So where's the growth here? So perspective, right? It's again perspective. But I can have that perspective just by observing, just by watching, just by being grateful, just by seeing the world and as it is, right? Being aware of the reality as it is, not the one I choose to see. Exploring the truth beyond my own little small world, right? So I think the growth to me can be through purpose, productivity in the relationship to others, right? So because you can actually experience, as I said, through compassion and helping others, just really you can experience that how much certain things and become advocate for them, and you can grow significantly as a person.
Absolutely.
So I don't think you need as much as this pain, as much as you need alertness and invitation of thoughtfulness, and definitely compassion, I would say. And I think service of others.
Absolutely.
I think you can expand yourself significantly if you ask yourself, what kind of person should I become? And develop a virtue. I mean, if your goal to develop a virtue, you don't need suffering. You can just continuously have a criteria for yourself and a reference point that is in a value system, and ask yourself, how do I know I'm there? How would I be? How do I have self-assessment of my own personal growth? So I would say I don't need, I personally as a parent made sure my daughter doesn't suffer in certain things in vain. I think I invited introspection and conversation and observation of the world,
right?
So she can develop herself and hopefully walk into some experiences where the world doesn't comply with her desires, so she can readjust and become flexible, resilient, and adjusted. But yeah, obviously, I think there's a value in difficulty, but I am not sure that I do need trauma and I do need something significantly to break me, right? And so, because you end up with some people who are really sensitive and they become a victim or they withdraw from life.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I hope we gave a little bit more nuance that I think there are multiple ways to grow. I think it's in being intentional. And I would say, and I hope I'm going to round with this, I have a value system that I follow. I don't really look at trends. So morality is very so in ethical and being moral and all of these things, and self-accountable and owning your own part very much so first before I even look at the others. So there's a lot of also finitude of mind. I just really move away from certain things very quickly, and I focus on things that require my time, focus, and they're more complex and require my deeper thinking. And decision will have a longer impact on the people around me that I care about above all. So I think it's just really priorities. At least at this point, I do not invite pain and trauma to develop. That's for sure.
No, I love what you said, and to dissect it a little bit, I remember one of my friends. We were meeting this individual, and my friend is a very, you could say, jolly, loves to enjoy life kind of guy, right? And so this person that we met, he said that you're one of those guys, and life hasn't effed with you yet. So the F word, right?
Okay.
You seem like the guy who life hasn't effed with yet, right?
Okay.
And you are going to change. Right now, you're very gullible or innocent.
Okay.
So I guess there's that aspect to that whole pop culture term or phrase that we use that, to develop a certain survival instinct or to develop street smarts.
How old is the person that said that?
I would say about 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And-
he has been effed with already.
I suppose so. I think it's also a self-coping mechanism to interpret certain bad things that
So I'll
happen in
take you
life.
somewhere else if you allow me. I'm going to cut
course.
you up. So I think you're a very young age, and he's also too. And you just exited a beautifully protected and completely onto you focused structure, which is family.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the long time, you are everything really. You are surrounded by people, hopefully, by who would really care about you. They love you. They would change the world for you. They would fix everything. They make sure they clean up the mess. They don't complain as much as they should, really, because you are messy and disobedient.
True.
All of this. The real world won't. Okay, so that F is not really like that. What you're going to really understand, and I hope the parents will prepare you for that what you can't expect that from the world. Okay? That's a really that's a wrong comparing. So expecting that level of tolerance, patience is what's going to mess you up. Okay? And I do find that young people try to raise revolution out of that position. Right? And they really, so it's very sweet. And I do know that you're going to see that the world resists to your revolutionary ideas, your enthusiasm and all of that, simply because it's just so much more complex. And the people just around you really don't care that much about you and your ideas as much as your parents did, and they took the time and all that. So it's just a change that I find this obviously far more in young people, but I think it can be explained more, transition from that reality in a very different reality where you have far less choice and control over your environment. And that's actually what you're going to be asked to readjust. You're going to be annoyed that they don't listen to you, they don't comply with you, that you're not the smartest in the room, and they don't think like that. So it's just that self-centeredness is going to be a slightly decomposed, hopefully, in that way. And then as you move along, you're going to incorporate far more other people's perspectives and hopefully humility that you are not probably exercising as much in the family. So I do not think you are going to be in any way, I would say, your just reality will change. The worldview you have is significantly impacted by ecosystem you're exiting, and just really leaving the people who made sure you don't suffer. Then in the real world as adult, you will realize that's just not going to be that you're just not going to find that. People at work will compete. They will not work in your favor, which again, family is. So I think it's just really that. And then hopefully you will have resilience to just kind of realize it's not personal. It's really not personal. Most, I think, young people find it a little bit too personal.
True.
But I think it's just really exiting that initial, very cushioned environment that a lot of young people are, simply because they're surrounded by people who would love them to death.
Absolutely. The last 5 minutes of what you said are actually some of the most deeply valuable and influential things. One of the most that I've heard in my life, actually. I think I'm going to replay that. And that I am very recently an adult. I was a teenager just some years back. And I can totally see the way that you dissected that into my own life. And every young person can, honestly. Most people can. But, Gen Z's, being someone who's Gen Z, our generation, it feels like things have gotten a lot more complicated than they used to be versus the previous generations, right? So now some general popular terms are, when you're assessing relationships, right? You're looking at things such as green flags, red flags. Okay, so the compatibility when trying to find a partner in your life, or a friend, or anyone for that matter, if it's a personal relation, it just has become so much more complex. There's so many labels added to it. Now there's terms like gaslighting, there's TikTok psychologists, there's these videos that get billions of views on this particular topic online. And it almost seems like it's crossing the line between pseudoscience and actual actual psychology and actual science, which majority of people who watch this content, Gen Zs, are not yet ready to consume or are not qualified enough. So where do you see this going, like, into the future now that things have become so much more complex?
I don't envy you guys. I really don't, I mean, I obviously have a daughter close to your age, and I'm looking at the interaction, and I have to say, she had a difficult conversation to face with a friend, and they kept on being on WhatsApp. And I said, call. She says, Mom, no one calls. I said, what do you mean no one calls? That's not how we do it. It's interesting what she actually said. And it's really interesting. So we live in an era where you guys were never more free, right? Definitely in individualistic societies. Don't get me wrong. For the longest time, we lived in a very structured cultures, right? They were making rules around gender, different age, transitioning to adulthood. I mean, they were, literally landmarks. Like, once you're in that age, you expect to do this. It was, now, do you fit or not? You understand the consequences. You understand what kind of goes along. And there was a pretty much, you could understand what's going to come, right? A lot of institutions were regulating how to behave as well. Now, we dismantled a lot of this. Right? We really dismantled. We offered you a lot of freedom. But then, funny enough, you guys created your own rigid culture now, which is really amazing.
True.
It's unbelievable. Like, I have no idea. So you all want individuality. You all want authenticity. You all want to be, I want to wear whatever I want. I want to be.
Yeah.
But now, the hookup culture arrives. You have to be cool. You shouldn't care. You should swipe around. Yeah. It's like a blinking competition, honestly. Who can hold cool longer? Like, who can care less? Like,
Absolutely.
And mind you, it's a lot of drinking going around. It's like, I definitely didn't mean it to be sensitive. I definitely didn't mean to like you. Something else made me, and tomorrow I'm cool again. So I'm caricaturing, because honestly, I'm looking at it. One of the things I find, and you use the word complex, and I really wonder what is more complex. So I'm just going to ask you to unpack for me, because I have something else in my mind. But when you said it looks to you, it feels to you more complex. So please, if you can just define what do you mean when you say complex, so I can come in with something what I see.
Absolutely. I actually had this conversation with my parents the other day, and it's more so about, now, when you're looking to make a friend or find a partner in this day and age, so in the previous generations, typically what I believe used to happen was there were two people. If they clicked, if they liked each other, they would become friends or partners, right? There wasn't a long list of things to check off first. Right now, they need to be cool on their socials, right? So first of all, do they have socials, right? What kind of movies do they watch? What kind of playlist that you can relate to them, right?
Okay.
Personalities. For some people, they even look at star signs, etc. That's like a very popular thing within Gen Zs now. And it's just a very now long list of things that need to be ticked off.
Okay. So are you cloning self to date? It seems like you're cloning oneself to date.
That what it seems like sometimes. That's what it appears some people maybe want, because if you are aiming to get that perfection, it's probably not going to be something realistic.
It's a tough job interview over there, is what it seems like.
Yes. And so that's part of the reason why, like, I personally believe some of my friends have had really good people that they could potentially have been with. And when I ask them why, it's usually some very, their choice I respected, but very stupid reason to, like, not be with them. I don't like the fact that this person does not post anything on Instagram, or this person does not want to, I don't know, watch this movie or blah, 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 blah. So that's what it seems like. Yeah.
It sounds, I hope I'm not going to be too blunt, so superficial. Okay, so obviously, I think there's some loss of understanding why intimacy offers growth, to be honest. playlist and music playlist and copying my playlist is really doesn't offer me to learn any new music taste. So it's a loss of diversity, but I'm just going to jump in. So go ahead. I think you want to add something.
I just want to add something very important to give you a little bit more context. The terms that I described, red flag, green flag, etc.
Sure.
There's literally a list of things. Like on TikTok, for example, there's girls who give dating advice, for example, and they're like, if your guy has these things, if he has this car, or if he has this, so they're stereotyping, there are certain behaviors. So it just appears that
a strange thing.
People are now kind of overly sensitive and hyper aware of things that are probably not even malicious, but they want to categorize them as, stuff that could potentially be not great for their long-term future.
Okay. So giving the advice. It's interesting. I think the in itself, there's a premise that is wrong from the going. I'm perfect, so I need to find the other one. I think that's a premise from the get-go. So there's no at all mirror in the person view, right? So you're not asking yourself about yourself any question. It's all about fitting the other person with the perfect self. I think that's in itself introduces a problematic situation because the other person cannot be controlled. Okay, then it is not your laundry list of requirements, so you effortlessly stay who you are. There's no growth to it. There's no challenge, but also there's arrogance to it. To be honest, that you are just the way. And you deserve, because you shouldn't change. And also, if you come with this attitude into relationship, you will be constantly fixing the other person, right? Because there's nothing to question about yourself. So when it comes to relationships, really, you always ask yourself, what kind of person and partner do I want to become? If I want what kind of relationship?
Yeah, you don't hear that very often from people.
So the first thing is really, what kind of relationship is fulfilling, okay, at your age? And it's very interesting. So it's really unfair from me, and my point of view, to say what is not fulfilling for me. And I kind of crossed a lot of landmarks in relationship, right? And so for you, it's very different. So I would say, the person that invites you in a safe space, that you can look at yourself and not run away, okay? That your mess is kind of a little bit more allowed to sit together and you can explore yourself. Now that's a person. Now, you remember when I said that you kind of exited that safe environment you're walking. Now you need someone who's walking. So they're similar age, right? They're walking into this, right? You think about walking with this person where you can create a little bit of that little environment where both of you can sit and discuss experiences, right? Enter self. Not the other person. I invite you to introspect. They invite you to develop the language of self-growth. They invite you to understand the complexity of relationship as something ever-growing, ever-evolving, something that you continuously nurture, right? That the love is something that we all strive for, but what does love mean for you? What does it mean to be intimate for you? What does the sexuality mean for you? What kind of relationship would you like? Exploring all of this, expanding narrative. Now, that's a part. Now you're asking me, it's like, okay, so am I too young to know all of this? All you have to do is be curious. I'm actually at your age not expecting answers. I'm expecting curiosity. And the partner that invites you, remember, no partner is wrong. Honestly, we're going to come back to that, pain and growth. No partner is to ask. And if you notice a pattern in a kind of attractiveness to certain partners, you really have wonderful opportunity to ask yourself, okay, why? Why is this my pattern? Because you can change yourself. Like you really have a control. And you can, in silence of your mind, I mean, when I say it's like no one is hearing you, have a really conversation with honesty. Like, right. That scares me. Oh, I don't feel comfortable. Oh, can I even name this emotion? But think about it. You enter in a relationship with someone, okay? Inevitably, if you stay longer enough, you're going to be in a conflict, okay? how you two handle conflict says more about your relationship and you, and probably a lot of other music lists. And
Absolutely.
these things are training ground. Okay, this is where we revisit our first classroom of love, or your love classroom, which is your family. Okay, so I would say the people that I don't invite are people who will allow me to explore certain things about self, the narrative, and a lot of things that would allow me to really find my distortions. And vulnerabilities are distortions, huh?
Right.
So I think these are the probably curiosity at your age, and really observing self a bit more than a cookie cutter on the other side.
Absolutely.
Can we touch on swiping and apps?
Yes, please. Let's do
I would
that.
like
Let's
to
do
touch
that.
on that.
course.
This is unfortunate for me. I think I worry about it a lot. I do think that your generation doesn't handle messiness.
We're commoditizing ourselves.
I honestly don't think you guys are handling messiness. I think you have no patience at all.
Right.
I do think we have overprotected you guys and underprotected you at the same time as a parents.
Really?
Absolutely.
How so underprotected?
We let you scroll endlessly. We never even know what your voices are hearing in a very tender, vulnerable age. On the other hand, we hover over your day-to-day things like school. We are part of your food choices. We are literally, we major in minors and minor in majors. I'm telling you. It's scary. I feel for you guys. I really do. And I think as a parents, we've really failed somewhere. I can't tell you, even with my daughter, I find myself apologizing a lot now. Really? Oh, God, yeah.
What kind of things, if you don't mind me sharing broad examples?
I actually really I focused too much on school at some point.
Okay.
I think the school was very kind of bullying me to focus on it.
Okay.
It was kind of making itself as a priority.
Right.
Exams and GCSEs. As much as we didn't care about the marks, it was just a whole timeline of school and pushing us to have this like a life-altering decisions that are framing it in such a way. And success in life is about school and what you're going to do and all of this. And I think emotional IQ is so on the bench. But I also I never realized how intrusive this technology is. And I think as a parent, I never used it to the way you do. So I had naiveness around it.
Right.
I also realized that you never switch off. So you're coming with a very naive brain, right? Where you don't have enough real life reference points. You don't have introspectiveness. You are very reactive still, very poorly responsive. The filter is underdeveloped. We don't have enough time with you, honestly. You're in school, after school activities.
Right.
Yeah. So in the meantime, and my daughter obviously didn't share certain things, because they were normalized.
Okay.
Like for her, these were normal until I realized, no. So I missed it because I thought to respect her space, I really believe in that, I shouldn't read her private messages. But then I realized the conversation is going on there. Like a serious conversations, the bullying, the the predatory behavior can be there. Not that everything, all of this happened to us, but then when she was sharing someone like, oh my God, I was having shivers down my spine. I thought I had no place observational sensitivity to it. How would I enter that chat room?
Right.
Like you guys have 6 accounts. They're coded. You have one that I enter. And then there are another 5 that you're chit-chatting. Yeah. And then there are apps and certain explorations. And I thought, oh, wow. And even if you're in the house and you go to your friend and they open up another Pandora box that I'm not even aware of, simply because in adult world, I just don't use technologies. They don't serve any. Neither do I communicate with my partner with them. Right. Neither at work. So some of them are stayed as a blind spot. And I did not know how intrusive they are. How much chatting is happening there.
I mean,
I didn't interject myself in it. That's what I'm saying. I did not offer
Yeah.
adult voice, some that I was hoping at least for her to say, wait.
I
Let
mean,
me question.
From my point of view, being a Gen Z, like we've had life-changing things happen on chat, right? Literally on chat.
Absolutely. That absolutely. I just, oh wow.
Broken friendships, initiating relationships, etc.
Bullying,
Yeah.
ostracizing,
Bullying is a big one.
labeling. Yes. But I honestly find the cruelty online that is freely shared would never be allowed face to face. Very few people would have this. I find that anonymity.
Absolutely. I was going to say
Oh my
that.
God. The you would really think twice face to face. The physical presence, the sense of pain. And remember, we do have mirror neurons. And the moment I hurt you, I mean, you change the energy. I would pick it up online. Do you know when they say, did the guy who would drop the atomic bomb ever think twice? But no, he was doing the target, like he fulfilled the task, right? He had a task. Drop at this point. No, he didn't tell him, kill so-and-so million people. Right?
Yeah.
No, destroy and cause cancer. No. He was told, soldier, you have a task. Yes. Okay? Drop at this point. Did you fulfill this? Yes. Now, why? Because he was so distant. Like he objectified things. Now, I do think in a way, people objectify another person. They lose so much compassion through that screen because it's like a strange filter that removes so much of human connection and definitely allow certain cruelty. My God, stuff people say. I mean, it's like a complete. I mean, I don't know. It's like the whole humanity is kidnapped by a couple of, like 2 sentences that you can go and push there. And nothing happens to you. It's amazing. You realize nothing can happen. I can just say whatever I want, hurt, even destroy someone's right now reputation without any consequence. I mean...
Anonymity.
even if, no, you can say your name. I mean, like you can say it. So what? So really, what? So what? Why would I care? And then really, why would you care? And this is a good question. Why should you care? And I don't want to unpack it, but I really invite everyone. Why is this wrong? I find this really strange that this is not even obvious to people, which means we really emotional IQ somewhere significantly dropped with this technology.
Right.
At least development of it. We kind of stunted somewhere, or at least exploration of it.
So in regards to stunting, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be a fan of dating apps these days that require you to swipe. Basically put an entire person's life summary in just one page the size of your hand, pretty much.
Okay, so let me just tell you, I mean, it's not like arranged marriages were not there. They're actually there. And science says that some of them actually have a less divorce than all these romantic loves inspired relationships and marriages. And I think because expectations are really different and far more pragmatic in arranged marriages. So I think apps wanted to solve a modern problem of we don't have time. Yeah. And really there are no more community centers, there are no places, and we just want to be more efficient, right? Yeah. We don't have time. We want it efficient. There was technology. So I do think there was a good intention. I really do think. I know Bumble came in trying to give women a kind of control over it. The problem with apps, and there's so many, Cupid in UK, and I don't know, I'm not going to list all of them because we're not going to plug them in or here, but everyone can easily find a list of them.
Absolutely, hundreds.
One of the problems for me is they created a little bit of a slot machine thinking. Yeah. It's a bit of a FOMO, right? So you find the match, right? Wow, okay. You found the match knowing that there is more possible candidates coming in every second.
Absolutely.
So, God forbid we go for dinner. Okay, so we go for dinner or go for lunch or go for whatever you want. I don't know how you're going to create, but eventually kind of face-to-face arrive. I'm guessing you chat a little bit. It's still 2D. It's flat. Likes the face. You don't want to see the person. So you go. No, you're not going to go commit to 3-course menu. What if this person is just... No. Okay, so you approach really with the only one intention, to serve me, to entertain me, to be my match. You have no curiosity. I mean, you don't even want to know. Maybe they're uncomfortable. It's really hard to be yourself on the first date because you came with such a strong checklist in your head, right?
Exactly.
So, which makes, really nervousness. It enters, anxiety is there. I would never. I was just curious about people. And I would like to, it's amazing. They had, until that point, they have a life story you never heard. Sure. Maybe you never even walked that road. For God's sake, get to know this. Maybe you'll never meet again. But you know what? It's remarkable that someone lived that life. Anyway, going back. You go to a toilet, right? You know what we do? People do swipe. Okay, let me see. In the meantime, while I'm sitting with this person, what happened there? Did the better match came in?
Yeah.
Maybe someone better came in. Oh, okay. What did the maybe? Oh, look at that. Oh, he looks much better. Oh my God, that's so much better. Oh, they have extra better playlist match or whatever. Yeah. And forget about value system. We don't even go there. Like as a value system, what do you care about? Loyalty, respect, commitment. No, it's not. Because that takes time to get to know. Huh? No, we're back. He was swiping, she was swiping while you were gone. Ooh, thank God we only ordered salad. I'm out of here fast. So the problem is, and I really think the quality of this is not mine, honestly, there's many people who said that. Marshall Rosenberg and Esther Perel this is her motto. And I truly believe in this. Quality of your relationship determines quality of your life. Okay? So in that sense, when you're choosing a partner, you're making such a big decision. Swiping and constantly swiping is not helping you be present whatsoever. And if you met on the app, and good for you, it can work. There's nothing wrong about being matched on the app. What is a problem is that you arrived without presence. Agree that no swiping will happen until date. Whatever. Please respect it. Make a code of conduct around it. And I know ghosting is now something that goes around. Ghosting is really inappropriately leaving person without explanation. It's very hurtful. I do think you should honor another person with saying thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you, which it was, because you have still learned something about yourself. And if you've done well, you get the opportunity to understand self better, if nothing. So please, allow this person to show in a different environment. Don't ask them maybe dinner is completely out of their usual environment. Okay, so you met, it's convenient, but maybe it's not part of their rainbow at all. Right. It's like, maybe they like to be and walk in the park. Maybe they like to go to clubbing. Maybe they see them a little bit. Why would one meeting in any way reduce? How can you reduce person and how can you even be curious enough? So I would say, maybe just be open. Have a good time. I said someone how I would go out and I see people and I would say, you know what? I'm just gonna be with this person and let's see how it goes. Right? There was no agenda. Like it's open, right? We talk, we can agree what to talk, we can disagree, but red flag. So when you meet someone, I do think you should monitor the language. So going back, You're sitting with someone. So yes, come with your curiosity. Yes, come with a sense of ownership and presence. But also watch for red flags really that are there. Okay?
Yeah.
So I think kind of being occupied with self. defensiveness, combativeness, immediately correcting me in everything. It's just that, it's honestly, the question is now, maybe toying with that a little bit, but self-centeredness, narcissistic behavior, conflict-orientated people, I just think if I just wouldn't go into it, if they're very early on in it, and I keep saying the litmus test for a lot of relationships is how they resolve conflict.
Absolutely.
Because you're really bringing your vulnerabilities. And so will this person invite me to see myself, or I constantly have to be occupied with their emotions? It's very little room. Is it self-diminishing or self-expanding space?
Right.
If you really can't be authentic, if you're reducing yourself, if you can't be at all authentic, if you're continuously retailoring your narrative about yourself, if you're tiptoeing, this person is not at all exploring you, and they're not curious enough. So yes, you can probe this, and I do say, please, one meeting is not enough. So if you're using apps, nothing wrong about it. Please agree that you have to be present. Please agree how will that presence. And there has to be a rule, no swiping. Please make it a little bit more sacred. Choosing a partner is an important decision in life. And I don't mean for life. Partner on this part of my journey as a person. It doesn't matter 3 months, 5 months, 1 year, 2 years. Okay, we're all in the pursuit of a person that will hopefully make us a better person. And that's a goal, really, to be a student and a teacher at the same time in every relationship. And that's, both of you should invite the both roles, because your vulnerabilities may not be the other person's, right? You distort one way, they distort. So they help you self-regulate. The other person, you help them self-regulate.
Right.
So I think that emotional IQ should grow when you're with the right person. And that's a life partner, okay? That's not a lover. I mean, we fall for lovers way too soon. A life partner is something else. But going back, so I think apps, great. Please be present, agree how to handle this, and allow a little bit of nuance to it. And to see another person, I would say invite them to your friends. Very quickly. Your friends love you. They know you.
Yeah.
Okay? Even when you start falling for someone, don't hide them from your friends. Don't hide them. They will pick up much faster than you, especially when you become infatuated. You are having pink glasses. There's just so much scheming over problematic little things. Your friends will pick it up faster. So instead of hiding them, bring them very quickly into your life. See how they function, how they fit. How much you're diminishing yourself? How much do they criticize? How do they behave around animals, other people? Wait, how quickly the kindness is invited for them? How clued are they on thank you? I mean, road rage. My God, I see people in the road rage. I laugh every time. I mean, so watch how they behave when they relax, when they actually feel secure. So in relation to me, you're trying to impress me, right?
Yeah.
But bring them in. Bring them where there's they lower the guard, which is waiters, people of supposedly where they see ranks difference, power difference. See how they treat people. Absolutely. I think it's very important. You will immediately see compassion. You will immediately see sensitivity toward just the other people, how much abusive they are when they have a power, how collaborative rather than competitive they are, how much they invite you. And that's your second question. I think somewhere there was confidence over arrogance. And someone who is confident has no problem you growing next to them. Someone who is arrogant, I assure you, will be a threat because they compete. They have to be superior. They're stuck. They're fixed. I'm great. The criticism is not acceptable. The confident person knows this is a journey. They invite this. They love it. They know they're not perfect. They know they're messy. And that's what it is. Humility is immediate. So that question of confidence and arrogance, I mean, most people find arrogance, these people just don't create space for you.
Right.
They stunt you. There's a monologue. There's a sense of me, myself, and I. There is just constant desire to win. No sharing, no collaboration. They're very poor team players. They just inflate themselves. So you're asking me, where's that coming from? Insecurity. to apologize, arrogant person to apologize. That's very hard. And I think that's where you are.
Yeah. Like, I wanted to ask you, what is the exact psychology behind why people find it so hard sometimes to apologize? Is it something that degrades ourselves in our mind? But is there more of a biological reason to why this actually exists?
Okay. So I think I can tie up another question. You asked me about attachment styles and how people reduce them to, I can see again something that was myopic and kind of superficially understood, where
Exactly.
people label someone immediately after kind of 3 sentences, and everyone is a psychologist now. So going back on apology, right? I will bring you back to your initial love classroom, right? In which you were having 2 roles. You were observing and also participating, right? So I'm going back to your prime family environment, right? And all the adults you were watching, right? So if I look at your parents, you were watching how they treat, how much apology was a part of vulnerability and losing power, shame, guilt, right? So let me just tell you, one of the problems in apology, if you don't discriminate well, shame and guilt, right? So shame means hiding and surrendering, and you just don't, losing something. Guilt is much more going back to the person, right? Guilt is, I want to own it. I want to apologize. So discriminate between shame and guilt. Now, in your prime family, if apology was shame, if that was vulnerability, and I say you're vulnerable, you lose something. If I apologize, means I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then I'm not the person I think I am.
Yeah.
So it is attack on identity, right? And again, remember, I'm exposing myself. You can't predict what the other person will react, right? So I apologize, and the other person can be very open to it, right? But I can be very much humiliated. I can be very much, someone can kidnap all that, weaponize themselves. You see? And remember this, and almost like a spear get back to you as soon as they have this opportunity. They regain more power by saying, you see, the last time. So they use apology. So depending on the relationship you are in, you will see that the relationship is always a tango of 2. And so but I do have to say that apology can be practiced, and it's not, so it's identity attack. It's how you were practicing in your own family and in your system. So going back in that initial classroom, you were watching your parents apologizing, and who had the right not to apologize. Okay, so as soon as you are lower rank, I don't have to do anything to you. I don't have to apologize. You just, whatever, small, and you can't punish me. So you abuse that. Okay, so that means the value system is not spread out fairly. Okay,
right.
So morality doesn't apply to you as much as to me. So there's also a thing that when you do wrong, is your character problem. When I do wrong, it's contextualized, it's situational. That's also that. A lot of people try to explain themselves. But when the other person does, it's character flaw. So if you're attacking through apology, so if apology looks like a character attack, then you won't go there. But if apology is situational and the other person understands that when you apologize, you actually become someone who desire to own your part, right? Not own everything, but own my part. And that's very important, right? Apology allows healing. Apology allows growing. Now you're coming back, why is it so hard, right? Because so we find hard with the loss and the threat. So when you find yourself, apology is hard with this person, not with everyone, okay? Let me get you. And not in every situation. You're going to see how quickly you can apologize with someone else. But there are stakes, right? What am I losing? What's so threatening here with this person right now? So I would say when the apology is not easy, don't run away from it, okay? Maybe you didn't do it, but go back, go into your thinking space. Really, this is strange. I honestly can't apologize. I feel like I'm going to shatter. Like I'm going to literally disappear. Like it goes somewhere where I cannot control myself, like emotionally is so charged that I can't go there. Sit with it. Honestly, it's a space to sit now. It's amazing. Like you found literally distortion in your perspective. It's so distortive and so emotionally charged. This is the growth space. Like that, you press on that pain point. And if you can't press on it alone, find a person that will create now a space where you can slowly explore it. But what is a right apology? Maybe you're doing it wrong. Maybe that's why it's hard. Mm-hmm. Maybe because you get attacked for it. Maybe you don't get recognition you're looking for.
Yeah.
Maybe you're coming in with the wrong expectations. Oh, now I apologize. Now I want something else. Now I want you to do something. And that's not how it goes. Apology has to come without expectation. Apology is ownership. This is it. And it does not come with but. Yes, I'm sorry for that, but. No, it's finished. No, that's just gone. Whatever you said before but is gone. Okay? You didn't own it. Okay? The right kind of apology is the one that sits. Okay? It opens up. You actually see in the other person's body. Most of the time, this is in a conflict, right? And you will see in a conflict, like the body talks, like it's really, your energy is like you're closing, you're tense, like you just feel all the feathers up. Like you can feel it. Like most of us intuitively can feel it in both each other, right? And when something is said right, you're going to see the other person opening up. They almost breathe better. Like watch them. So when you apologize, say, some of the apologies are really poorly framed. What are you really apologizing for? So my daughter, funny enough, my conflicts are the strongest with my daughter. I have so much more charge there than with my husband. And it's very interesting, right? There's a reason. They're very different people. My daughter has far more courage to conflict me. So going to conflict with me, I love her to the bits for this because it offers me to change. Because I believe her, right? I believe and I allow her to challenge me, right? So I would go in and I would apologize. And I really don't expect anything. Honestly, I just want her to listen to me. And I'm grateful when she gives me a chance, right? And so I would say, I would think a little before I storm in so I can make myself better. It's like a quick apology. No, that's making me better. No. I sit a little bit. I literally take a little bit of time out, right? I sometimes walk away. It didn't go well. The conversation ended up abruptly. Usually it's a slamming door or kind of energetically like, get out, or I don't want it. So she doesn't feel heard, seen, right? I missed it, right? I missed something. I had agenda. I pushed in. We had a complete difference of opinions. Poorly managed. Something, okay, what was my part? Okay. So I sit back and I come back and I say, I am sorry. Okay, can I just apologize? That's it. So I won intention to apologize. Okay, I don't want to win anymore anything. Okay, I just want to apologize. Can I apologize? So now I need a consent. Okay, because maybe she's not ready. Maybe I'm intrusive. Maybe she's in pain. I really can't have you now. I'm not listening. You hurt. I hurt. Right? This is interesting. So now I have to create a space. Right? So I come in. And I say, I'm sorry. I can see what I said did not at all incorporate what you were saying. I did not have curiosity. I didn't give you space. I interrupted. Okay. I didn't know this is my trigger. I had no idea that I'm so sensitive to this. This is what I'm going to own. I'm going to go back and think it through. I want to learn from this. Okay? And I would usually ask for a hug. I just love to hug this child. I call her child. Sorry if you're listening. But I like to reconnect. So I fight for connection back, not for my agenda. So apology is seeking connection back, repair, growth, space, seeking each other, inviting the other person. It's really an attitude. So using but, no. Let me just say what's the biggest offender for me with apology. Okay, on the phone. Oh my Lord. That phone never stops.
Are you talking about texting or calls?
No, I have to say, well, listen, I think apology has to be with a voice.
Okay.
Texting is just, I'm sorry, it's not offering sincerity, especially if it's a deep hurt. I'm sorry, it's just not there. It's not going to cut it. It doesn't show presence. It doesn't show thoughtfulness. It doesn't show a lot of this wonderful depth that you can go in, and vulnerability, and the messiness, and that I care about us deeply, and the intent, and so much context is missed, right? How much of this can you really present? And the energy, and the body. And I can't read you even. I mean, I can't read anything from you. I don't know what's happening on the other side. I can't feel your hurt. I can't feel intensity. I don't even know how much I stepped on you. Right? I have no idea what's going on. So I need to see you. I need to hear you. I need to feel you. But I also think that the kind of, I'm talking and you are swiping, that's not present. This thing is almost like, even when you turn it, it's still a third person. I honestly feel it's a third thing in the room. So show presence, stop the time. Really. One thing that when people talk to me, and I make sure, I do this with my daughter, I do this with my husband, and I do this with fierceness. I mean, I am absolutely fierce about this. There is no phone, no call, nothing now between you and me. The things have to burn, like nothing. I'm with you. This is important. We are talking. You're the most important thing in my life. I mean, you're the person I love the most. And I'm hurting you. What is more important than to fix this, to reconnect?
True.
You are part of my reality that I protect. I mean, as a parent, I say I die for you. My partner, I said, I'm all in. I'm 100% in. There's no 50-50. I think we say this beautifully in our course. I always said, I'm all in. I do not count your effort. I count mine. I'm all in. So apology for me is more layered and nuanced, I think. But yes, it's a threat to our identity that we just have to come back to. So confidence has to be built, vulnerability explored, and then apology. So if your vulnerability is not attacked with other person, then apology comes very quickly, and it's welcome, it's seeked. The other person knows that you had to open up, and that you're now surrendering a little bit to them. And they will, actually, if they appreciate this, they will not even go and attack you. They will just really see this, oh my God, thank you. You really care about us. You came back. You even risk being hurt back, not knowing what I'm going to do. But you care so much about us that you open yourself, you risked it. That's beautiful, honestly. And practice it. It's just practice. Go there, say a little bit of it, mess it up the rest, go step a little bit further next time. Just like anything. I'm just going to wrap it up, honestly. I find this strange. We learn second language.
Yeah.
It takes us a long time, okay? It's the same with emotional development. It really takes time. One failure, one encounter, it's just a lesson. Honestly, keep going, keep learning, keep being curious. It's a beautiful journey. I mean, it's so worth investing. I think the payoff. And I would say, if I would say something to younger self, start at your age, if not earlier. It has the best payoff, but it's never late. So keep exploring, keep growing. I don't know how much time we are left, but there's so much out there. And I think you live at the best time and the worst time, because there's a lot of gurus, but I think there are wonderful thinkers. I mean, I have a list. I can actually share that with you. You can maybe put it in the notes, post this. But I have some wonderful people who really guide young and mature people in their relationship. I mean, obviously people who are in a marriage, and people who are heavily invested in certain relationships, and people who are entering. And I think they're just wonderful voices out there. They are very approachable, and there's no payroll there. There's no paywall. There's just, you can just access them. And
That's wonderful.
So I think I can really give a couple of names. Beautiful books, podcasts, And you can do them together, you can do alone. But remember, the partner you're looking, you have to become that partner first.
Absolutely. I love that. I love how you wrap that up. And in general, all the stuff that you've mentioned and beautifully dissected, I think it's going to be of immense value to anyone who's listening. And
I hope so.
Thank you so much for coming. I absolutely loved this.
Pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
Great.